We truly live in a golden age of keyboards, and today's hidden gem is on Amazon of all places. If you told me a few years back there was a great keyboard on Amazon, I would laugh in your face. Especially one that didn't need any lubing, any mods, any extra foam, or anything to make it sound just right. But this is 2024, baby. Good keyboards can be found everywhere nowadays, especially aluminum ones. Can you believe that? It's probably thanks to all the work enthusiasts have made, all the videos they've done showing keyboard manufacturers how it should sound and how you should put in the work, and they followed suit. So you guys remember Boyi, right? The GMK67 65% keyboard that I showed you a while back that was plastic but gasket mounted and came in an actual kit. That way you could pick your own switches and keycaps, which is always my preference because I never like the profile they use in most keycaps, and they're always ABS rather than PBT, which is the superior version, right? Well, meet its V2. It's close to about the same price also, but it's all aluminum, still gasket mounted, flex cuts. You'll see the whole feature set in this thing, but it is a bargain for what you're getting out of this. So I was a bit skeptical when I heard I could grab aluminum mechanical keyboard on Amazon, but Boyi hasn't failed me before, so why would they fail me now? So I decided to pick up their newest model. This is a kit, so it only does come with the board, keycap puller, and a couple switches and the actual cable you need, which is fine. Again, I like that kind of stuff, but I was in for a huge surprise. Just so we're clear, this keyboard has south-facing switches, rubber where the spacebar sits so it dampens the sound, doesn't make it sound hollow, and cuts in the PCB for even better gasket mount performance for that flex. Every keyboard nowadays seems to come with a knob, and this one is fully removable and fairly easy to replace if you really wanted to. And the typing profile is a little flatter than most. I don't have the exact numbers, but it's definitely more flat than any keyboards in my collection, which is not necessarily a negative as this is all subjective anyway. This keyboard also has 3 connection types: wired, Bluetooth, which is a button combination, and a 2.4 dongle, which has a little holder for it. It's kind of cute, right? You can put it right in there, a little slit, but you just hit the switch over, hit a command on the keyboard, and you're on 2.4 gigahertz connection. But there'll be no issues with the 2.4 gigahertz connection on a cheap keyboard, right? Right? We'll see. So before we begin, I insist on taking all these keyboards apart. Thank goodness for this cheap set of screwdrivers I got on Amazon. So we'll flip it over, and there are only 6 small screws to take care of. So I'm giving this keyboard a 10 out of 10 on disassembly. Once we've everything removed, it's fairly simple to pull the top cover off, and once we remove the knob to see what's underneath. And look at those gaskets. Perfection. And for those who don't know keyboard anatomy, this is the bottom of the PCB after pulling everything up. It also has a very nice custom built-in like sketch CNC for that battery, very fancy. And the PCB has multiple layers with foam in between and at the bottom, kind of to mimic the tape mod. This plastic layer is used to dampen any sound that would hit the aluminum board, and foam in between the PCB and plate to reduce sounds even further. So you should have no sound complaints coming from this board. I personally love it, and they did a really good job. Nice work, Boyi. After we get everything back together, we really need to take a look at those stabilizers. They're listed as pre-lubed, but we should always take it apart to test. For one thing, there is no wiggle room, and these do not rattle, so well done. And drum roll, please. Lube. Glorious lube. Wow, look at this. This looks great. I doubt any modding work will need to be done. Do I have switches? Oh, I got a puller. So we're gonna look at these switches that were sent to us by Boyi as well. These are actually very nice tactile switches. They also have linear, so don't worry, linear fans. I'm one of you. These are Boyi FS Ice Blue tactical switches, and they're actually listed as Flaming Skull, which is kind of funny because they don't really line up with the Boyi brand. They say Flaming Skull, and maybe it's just the type of switch. Maybe that's what their name is. Anyway, either way, they do have impressive stats. They aren't loud like you expect from a Blue. They're actually quite quiet. They're 5-pin, and they come pre-lubed out of the factory. They have 48 grams of force to be activated, so not too heavy, not too light. I would say just right in the right zone in my opinion. And I do gotta say, I'm not a tactile user, but I've been testing these out all week, and they're starting to warm up on me, but we'll see when I go back to linear what I think. So we'll just use some magic editing and put these on right now. Dang, that ice blue looks so good with that steel. And by the way, the board does have some kind of aluminum feel to it. Like, not aluminum, sorry, like galvanized. Like it's very shiny and smooth. There's no rough edges on it. And while I wait for my other keycaps to arrive, hit subscribe if you'd like to see that video. I have to just borrow these keycaps from another build. Please ignore the dust. Also, this is a 65% kit that has a nice texture on it that I really like. So just some more editing magic. Here we go, and toss these on to here and toss them on to the other, and there we go. Did that look cool? Oh wait, we're still missing a few. Oh, please ignore the fact the keycaps look a little different now. I happen to find the correct ones. But man, does this look pretty. Also, I accidentally created the best matching keyboard to my new PS5 silver controller. Whoops, but it looks incredible regardless. So while you watch me type on this beautiful keyboard, I can finally give you my final take. So is this keyboard any good? Is it worth your time to look at? Well, absolutely. It's great for the price you're paying for this thing. There are a few things to report though about it, and I did bring it back to Boyi, so keep in mind. There's something not quite right with the 2.4 gigahertz connection, as I foreshadowed earlier. I'm not sure if it's the PCB or the connection signal, but immediately it gets interference from something else. So if I'm typing too fast and I hit too many keys at the same time, the keyboard kind of gets overloaded, doesn't know what to do. It gets confused and it will basically lag behind and take a few minutes to catch up. Or it'll hit one key and it'll continuously press that key until it's interrupted in the connection. Kind of a weird thing. So I contacted Boyi, let them know about the issue. They did a factory reset, or I did one on my keyboard, and that did the trick, which is just a really simple hold F and escape command. It did work. It still has issues if you mash keys too many times, but you have to hit like 20 keys at once just to make it do that and make it overload the kind of connection bandwidth. But regardless of that, it's been working fine since. But they immediately respond, they're very responsible, so if you do run into those issues, I have no doubts they'll replace your PCB or get you a new keyboard if that run into that problem. And just so you know, this has happened to me with other keyboard manufacturers, so it's not unique to Boyi. But otherwise, the wired connection worked flawlessly, as well as the Bluetooth connection. So this was addressed, it worked great afterwards. I love this board, I think you're gonna love it. Just wait for the sound test at the end of this video. All right, that's it for me. Subscribe, you know what to do.